friends, it's Josie and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a little bit of preserving and we are making some strawberry jam. So I normally get my strawberries from the strawberry patch. We have one here. It's called Salt Box Farm. It's close to me, and we normally get them there, and we do U-Pick, so it's also kind of like a fun activity for the children as well. However, it's just a bit costly, and I understand, supporting local, and we will still be going there to pick it for the kids and things like that. I just won't have to get as much as I normally do. So I'm just using some organic strawberries that I have, and we are just going with it. So of course, when I am preserving food, I want the best quality, but then also I want something that is affordable so that I can preserve quite a bit of that item, instead of just only being able to afford a little bit of that item. I rather, if there's a more cost-effective way to be able to preserve that item, then that's what I want to do. Just because I'm not rich and, I want the best, but also I want it at a reasonable cost as well. Even if that's just going to Azure or ordering from Azure and getting it that way in bulk or whatever I need to do, that is how I'm just going to do it. But I still like to support local. We still go to these places. We still will go to the blueberry patch and things like that. I just won't get enough to preserve. I will just do it for fresh eating and fun and support. So with this kitchen being so small, it took me forever to find everything that I needed, but we got it and we are ready. Now we are starting to chop up these strawberries, and I'm right here looking at the cookbook to make sure that I'm doing it correctly, and things like that, which I ended up not, and then I had to go back a little bit, but that is okay. We are doing it. But usually whenever I make strawberry jam, I make it for the whole year. So we have probably about 10 to 12 pint jars of it, which will last us probably for a year, which is good. And we will have that on our shelves. And then luckily if I can get frozen organic strawberries and make some more if we end up running out. But we also, kind of in between get get grape jam and things like that sometimes, just because that's what Mike prefers. So we will have plenty to last us. And I also like to gift these for Mike's detailing business. We have one loyal customer that we give one to every year whenever they redo their contract. And then my mom also usually takes a couple as well. So, but we always still have enough for the whole year. So when you're doing this, I like to cut my strawberries up a couple of times and make sure you get the greens off of it and things like that, just so you don't want that in your final product. And now we are about to start dividing out the pectin. I did this because I couldn't remember how many batches I can get out of one box of pectin. But I realized it was 2, so that determined how many strawberries I needed to cut up, and things like that. And I did it in this glass so that I could make sure that I'm measuring out into something, that I can just pour out. There are strawberry jams that you can use that don't call for pectin, because with the sugar content and the acid content, you can get away with not doing any pectin. But this recipe I've done for so many years now, and I love it, and it just works good for me. So I just continue to do it. It's kind of like one of those things, why fix something if it's not broken? And that is what we are doing here, you guys. We have it worked, and we know it works, so that's what we're going to continue to do. I know that my whole family likes this, and my friends, and everybody loves it. So I just am going to continue to make it this way. And maybe if I end up being on a health kick or something, I might change it up a little bit. But as of right now, I'm not. So next, what we are going to do is start mashing up our strawberries. You want to mash them up and try to get them, I like mine a little bit smaller than most. And sometimes I've even kind of blended it up a little bit. But I'm just using my potato masher to mash these up. I've also tried the meat masher as well, but it just seems like no matter which way I use it, it's still pretty difficult. So, you know, just do what you can. And this just helps release the juices from the strawberries to help, you know, just bring those juices that you need so you don't end up burning it and things like that. So now we are adding in our pectin to our strawberries, and I do have 2 batches in this pot. And now we have it on the stove, and what you want to do is heat it up and let the juices in the bottom start bubbling up a little bit, and then we will move on to the next step. But you want to make sure that you are watching this closely no matter what stage you are in, especially when you start adding in the sugar, because it can burn, and it can burn fast, and unfortunately this happened to me. So we had to run to the store, which you'll see in a little bit. But you guys, make sure you watch it. But then here I realized that I didn't have enough juices that were out, so I just mashed it some more and just did what I could with it. But it turned out really good. We've already opened up a jar because we were out, and it's just really, really good. So that was taking a little bit longer than I expected. So I am going ahead and putting my jars in some soapy water and some warm soapy water so that they can start doing their thing, and then I can clean those to make sure that they are nice and clean for our strawberry jam. And I also like keeping the boxes from the jars because I like to store them in there, and then if I need to place some on top of each other, then there's that cardboard in between the lids so that it's not too much pressure on the lids. And then next you want to make sure that you have your water bath canner, because this is a water bath canning recipe, and we are going to fill this up with water just for it to cover the jars that we are using. You can probably really, you know, use any size jars, but I'm using pints. But you just have to adjust your time in the water bath canner for that, and stuff like that. But what you really want to do is start having your water start boiling before you start your strawberry jam, and that's where I messed up because I was just not thinking at all. And then as you can see, my husband wanted me to do something which I cannot remember right now, and that was a mistake. But this is not where we burned it, and this is where I am using my immersion blender to try to break up the strawberries a little bit, just because I like mine not to have so many chunks in it. That's just what I prefer, and I've done it with this recipe before and it's worked out wonderfully. But then also I think my son Ian, he likes to have the chunks in it too, so I try to leave a little bit for him. But in this next batch that I ended up having to make, I had to because I had to, you know, put this one out. But I left it a little bit more chunkier because I was just done, and I really didn't even want to have to do this process all over again. But we just had to because I could not, and I was already planning on it. Already had everything ready, so I just had to continue to do it. So we are still stirring this, still making sure that it is good, and still trying to bring this to a boil so that we can go ahead and move on. And I even tried to adjust my heat a little bit more. I'm still getting used to this stove. I'm not used to one of these kinds of stoves or this one, so I've been having a hard time. And I'm also trying to figure out where I want to put my pots so that I can get my water bath canner to fit as well. I don't know why I thought it would fit in the back, because obviously it did not. But hey, we are doing what we can. So now it is sugar time. We are adding tons of sugar. And I think it's like 3 1/3 cup of sugar that we have to do. And so per batch. So that is what we're doing. It seems like a lot of sugar, but I'm going to tell you, it is so, so good. So we are doing that, and this is where I burned, because as you can see, I think I might have had it a little bit too hot. And with these, like these, I don't know if it's cast iron or whatever these pots are called. My brain is going blank right now, but when those heat up, they hold that heat in as well, which they're really good pots and stuff. But since that happened, then I just, no matter how much I turned down my stove. So we are loading up, going to the store and getting some more strawberries and pectin because I burnt my strawberries. I don't know how it happened. I kept on monitoring, I kept on stirring, but it burned to the bottom of my pan. So we are going to go to Walmart real fast and get some strawberries and stuff, and we'll come back and do it again. But I will only show you the part from that I need to show you after adding the sugar. Okay, so what I was saying was no matter what I turned the temperature to, it just continued and continued to heat up more and more. So I don't know, but now we have changed to this pot and we are back and we have this done, and now we are canning these up. And it's, you know, this batch went so much better and it worked out very, very well. And I had no problems with it, thankfully. So now you just want to leave about 1/4 of an inch headspace so that, you know, that's just what you need to do for safe preserving methods. And then we are going to also, whatchamacallit, clean the lids off with some vinegar, because that can help cut like any grease or grime or anything that is on the jars, so that it can have a nice seal on it. Because if there is something right there by where that seal needs to go, it won't seal properly, and then you can have it like come out of the jars and the canner, or it just won't seal. And that's the point of us doing all of this, is so that it can seal, so we can have it for years to come. So I am just continuing to get these jars out of my hot water, and then we are filling them up with our strawberry jam. And it looks liquidy right now, but after you water bath can them and you let them sit for about an hour, then they do perfectly fine. And I've never had any problems with any of them setting up or not. Like, they've all set up just fine for me with this recipe, which is wonderful. And I really like it. Now, I will say, whenever you are working with strawberry jam, make sure you are using a towel that you are okay with getting messed up, which with me, most of my towels are towels that I use in the kitchen and that I know will get messed up, so I don't mind. But like, if you were to have like decoration towels that you would leave out for certain holidays or something, then I wouldn't use those, of course. I would use something that you were okay with getting dirty, because this can stain everything, and it can get a mess. So now we are adding our lids and our rims to our jars so that we can go ahead and start getting these processed. Some lids say that you need to heat them up, some don't. So you just need to follow your the recommendations on your lids to see what they say you are supposed to be doing, and just follow that. And then you just want to put these on just finger tight. If you do it too tight, then you can start getting some bowing and stuff like that in your lids, and that is not what you want, because it can affect the seal. So now we are going to put these into our water bath canner. I really don't like to put stuff in the hot water bath canner, so if I have my husband around, I let him do it. He's always like, well, why are you making me do it? You know, why don't you want to do it? I mean, it ain't going to do anything. But I don't know. I just get kind of scared sometimes and think that maybe something's not hot enough or something like that. So I just think it's best for him to do it anyways. And he's taller. He can see what he's doing in there instead of me getting on a stool, and things like that. Because he is 6'3" and I am about 4'11" probably. But I like to say I'm 5 foot. So I am making him do it for me, and of course you can see he has no problem whatsoever, and it just makes me have a better peace of mind, and I feel better about the whole situation, and I don't have to worry about it blowing up in my face, which I know, that only happens if you have really cold stuff with really hot stuff. I understand that, but still, it's just a anxiety thing that I have. I don't know. But I realized I could fit one more jar because I couldn't remember how many jars that my water bath canner could take. So I am filling up this last jar that I had, and we are going to put the lids and stuff like that on it, and then I'm gonna bring him back in. I thought about it. I thought about putting it in there myself because the other ones didn't do anything, but I don't know. I just can't. Like, I can't. But I can move them around in there with no problem. But it's the other stuff. See, I felt it and I tried and I thought I was going to, but I didn't. So he did that for me. So now it is time to take these out. So what I like to do is whenever they're done, turn the heat off, and then I will let it sit with the lid off for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I will start taking them out just so they can adjust to like the house, like temperature and things like that. And as you can see, I have another batch going because I don't like doing more than 2 batches at a time just because. And so we are doing that and getting it done. And we have gotten a lot. This night we got all of the jars done that we needed to get done, which is very exciting. And it worked out. And see, it's easy to do another batch because you already have your canner ready. But thank you for watching.